This is George's tattoo. So he's from the Big Island. Another client that is very passionate about the Hawaiian culture and drawn to it. So we're just going to talk. I can't tell you his whole story. If you could see, this tattoo is like a whole back and chest full sleeve.
Yeah, it's huge.
So we're just going to kind of hit parts of it. Right at the top of his shoulder, right up here, he has the flower of life. You guys saw that a little earlier, and he was inspired by the other client that we had. To be inspired and copying someone is two different things. As you can see, the T has a tiki on his chest. The tiki represents his grandfather. There are certain people that he wanted to kind of honor in his tattoo. You have eyes of his ancestors watching over him. There's leaf pattern in there, which is family. Underneath his chest is a different type of leaf, and I did that more like a tea leaf because he has a practice. I don't want to get too specific, but he changes people's lives. Tea leaf is a blessing and healing. And spearheads, a lot of the spearheads that I use on him, he's been through a lot, and it's more persistent. So you think fighting spirit and all that, right? It's like persistence, moving forward, never giving up. So he's kind of in a new changing point in his life. He's that type of person, always moving forward. On his bottom arm, that is his children. If you look closely, that is his 3 daughters, a son up top. The dot is feminine and the line is masculine. You know, it's funny because this gentleman, Chris, he got the manta ray, you know?
Yeah, I remember that.
I totally wasn't going to do a manta ray on him because I'm like, you know, I'm not going to do exactly the same. But man, the flow, it just works so well. And he wanted to represent his really good friend that passed. And yeah, he does like rehab, so he does change lives, you know, and he has a whole practice where he has to go and talk to these guys, and he really wants to change people's lives that's going through that. His good friend actually went something similar, and he passed, and he wanted to present him, you know, and that manta ray just kept popping up. And when I designed it, you know, and it's on the back on Chris too, so I was like, I almost erased it, not because it shouldn't be there, just because I didn't want to copy. But again, how I work, and it's not like the right thing, it's just my thing. It flows, I say, from God, like through me, and I just gotta go with it. I just have to go with it, and there's a reason for it. And sometimes there's a reason that I don't understand, but the client understands, or the client knows. So that's why I say it's a co-creation. We both have to be on the same wavelength, because I can't do it myself. I gotta hear his story. He's gotta be connected and open with me. And when certain clients aren't, it's just not the right fit.
The manna's thrown off.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't want to tattoo you. It's just that we're not meant to. We're not meant to be together. It's not gonna work. So, anyways, with the manta ray, I understood it after when I designed it. I'm kind of like opening up to you guys like my style and what I do, but I feel the flow, the pattern, the story. Every symbol, it just kind of happens. Sometimes I don't know why I do it, but then when we talk later, I'm like, that's why.
It's supposed to be. It's the way it's supposed to happen.
And that's why it's hard to say this symbol means this, because sometimes it's different. Is that how Polynesians did it? I don't know. I wasn't there. You know, I'm not there. They didn't tell me that. I don't know. And I think the more that I let go and let God, it works. So it's hard for me to say, oh, this is Polynesian tattoo. I'm totally inspired by Polynesia and Polynesian tattooing, but this is like what I do. This is all I'm going to tell you guys. So I'm very careful to let you guys know this is just what I learned, or this is just what I've heard, or what I do. But this isn't matter of fact, traditional, the law. That's important, because this is very sacred things that we're doing.
And then George just throwing in for the story, not to sugarcoat it, that his friend Simon passed away from a heroin overdose. So that was his story with that.
I feel like the manta ray is freedom. That's what I felt as the manta ray swimming. If you could see on the front head of the manta ray, Inata or person represents him, friend. And then there's waves, because his friend was like a waterman. He loved the water. I put waves on the bottom of it, and then some birds in there, like freedom, like flying, like he's free. And that's just the meaning for the manta ray. You could see above the manta ray the shark's teeth. That could represent genealogy or protection. A lot of it's design too. You want something to match and balance everything. So right here, he loved that pattern of the shark's teeth, which is like protection. If you look at his whole form, it kind of looks like a war club.
Well, it's like George commented. I totally agree with him too. He's just said he totally agrees. He felt very close to Josh, like a brother. A lot of energy went through us. Josh, George, and Wendy. My story was created by all of us. Much love.
Every client that I have, we connect. The better the connection, the better the tattoo. tattoo. But throughout Polynesia, a lot of symbols are borrowed and used throughout different cultures and have different meanings throughout. So it's just hard to lock it down, and you don't want to do that. I think the biggest thing is just connect with your client, and ego's got to get thrown out. So right here, down here, if you look on his forearm, you have a symbol. It represents him, George. He's being guided. So the whole symbol itself is like a guiding star, somewhere you're shooting for and being guided through the birds. And I have the birds all shooting out, being guided. But he's been through a lot of struggle and everything.
I like to think of your pieces as almost as a reminder. If someone going through a struggle like that, you look yourself in the mirror and you see that and you go, I can keep going.
So again, right here on the chest, the weave pattern on the lower part, like grounding, like he's grounded. You know, everything that he's been through, he's now like grounded, solid. We got to see everything on this tattoo. It's a big story. There's a lot.